It started on a Tuesday morning, the kind where the world still feels half asleep, and the only thing making sense is the smell of coffee drifting through the house. My wife and I were sitting on the porch, watching joggers pass like clockwork, when her phone buzzed with a strange alert: unknown AirTag detected near you. We laughed at first, thought maybe her friend Holly, the one who always leaves stuff behind, had dropped something in her tote bag again. But then came the sound, a soft, high-pitched beep from inside her purse. That's when things stopped being funny, because I knew that sound. It wasn't just an AirTag, it was a warning. And whoever planted it had no idea who they were messing with. See, I used to work in digital security. Specifically, I was on a team that helped Apple write privacy protocols for the AirTag system, which meant I knew exactly what to look for. We dumped her purse out on the kitchen table like airport security. Lip balm, receipts, a crushed granola bar, keys. But nothing obvious. Then she unzipped the inner lining, and there it was, taped to a piece of cardboard, wrapped in a napkin, hidden like it belonged in a spy movie. I scanned the serial number. My stomach dropped. The tag was still active, linked to an Apple ID, live, and not marked as lost. I opened my secure work terminal and started digging. I had access to tools the average user would never see. Location history, signal data, proximity logs. And there it was, every move my wife had made over the past week. Grocery store, her sister's house, the school drop-off, even the quick stop at the vet when our dog got a foxtail in his paw. She looked at me, pale, eyes wide. "Is this stalker level bad?" she asked. I couldn't sugarcoat it. Yeah, and probably worse. Whoever planted this knew her schedule, knew how to get into her bag without being caught. And when we turned to look out the window, we saw her, 2 houses down, behind a manicured hedge, sipping coffee like she owned the world. Margot, the self-appointed queen of our HOA. Margot wasn't your garden variety nosy neighbor. She once filed a 13-page report because someone put a pink flamingo in their yard. She called a vote to ban wind chimes after claiming that constant jingling disrupted community tranquility. She lived for HOA drama. But this was different. This was criminal. I submitted a breach report to Apple. Within minutes, her Apple IDs, registered to Margot's iPad, was flagged. I could see her entire digital footprint. Family sharing, old devices, all of it tangled in one big surveillance web. My wife started putting pieces together. Margot had recently been too close, too curious. She'd handed over a letter about fence compliance and made a weird comment about the vet visit. No one else knew we went. No posts, no messages. Just a 10-minute trip and back. I pulled our porch cam footage. There she was, Margot, standing a little too long, slipping something from her coat into the tote bag my wife had left hanging on the chair. Caught. Clear as day. We took everything to the police. The officer at the front desk barely looked up until I dropped my credentials. Apple security consultant. That got his attention. A detective came in, reviewed the data, and asked the obvious. "Has she ever threatened your wife?" We explained the history. Petty complaints. Weird knowledge of things she shouldn't know. That was enough. They opened a stalking case. Back home, Margot was outside again, watering her lawn like she wasn't a walking lawsuit. My wife went inside. I stayed on the porch and stared. Said nothing. Just stared. Her face twitched. She knew we knew. That night, I set up my scanning Riga custom Bluetooth grid I built for security audits. It picked up not 1, not 2, but 3 more AirTags nearby. One in a sedan parked across the street. Another in Tanya's car, our neighbor who just had a baby and barely leaves the house. And the last, pinging from the mailbox at the end of the block. I left anonymous notes. Simple, direct. You may be under surveillance. Scan your belongings. I included the detective's contact. Tanya called the next day, voice shaking. She found one under her baby's stroller. Margot wasn't spying. She was hunting, gathering info, building dossiers. And it wasn't just us. We didn't confront her. We documented. We reported. Apple escalated the case. The AirTag was now in priority investigation. Her device started going dark like she knew she was caught. But it was too late. I mirrored her signal active VY and traced everything. Every ping, every step, every broadcast. Then came the twist. I handed the AirTag to a buddy still at Apple. Under lab conditions, they found the speaker had been removed and replaced with a mic module from a surveillance kit. Illegal. Felony grade illegal. The detective moved fast. Search warrant approved. Unmarked cars rolled up quiet the next morning. They went in without drama. Margot stood there in her housecoat, arms crossed, trying to bluff. Her husband looked blindsided. They found dozens of devices. Hard drives. Notes. Spare AirTags. Everything. Apple nuked her account. Permanent ban. Her iPad, phone, smart device dead. Her smart home locked her out. Siri gone. Cloud storage wiped. Even her photos gone. Neighbors started coming forward. One by one. Stories. Notes. That same quiet fear. She had been watching them for months. Some just thought they were being paranoid. Others blamed themselves. The HOA called an emergency meeting. Margot was stripped of all roles. Her name removed from the newsletter. Her gate code deleted. And then the cherry on top. A group of neighbors built a sculpture near the park. A giant chrome AirTag, blinking LED and all, with a plaque, in memory of oversight. May we all mind our own business. It was perfect. Subtle. Savage. A week later, a for sale sign went up in front of Margot's house. No goodbyes. No moving help. Just silence. When the truck pulled away, she stood there alone, watching the last piece of her control roll off into the distance. She left us a note. One last bit of drama. Folded, shoved into our mailbox. You destroyed my life. Privacy works both ways. We gave it to the detective. Another entry in the case file. Not long after, Apple reached out again. They wanted to use the case anonymized in internal training. Teach engineers and users about abuse and boundaries. They asked if I'd record a short video. I said yes. Not for revenge. For closure. For the community. And just for fun. I planted a fake AirTag near the HOA sign. No battery. No signal. Just a blinking LED inside a plastic shell. People walk by, see it blinking. Most laugh. A few flinch. Everyone gets the message. Margot picked the wrong family. Not because we were louder or meaner, but because we knew how to push back. How to document. How to fight. She tried to weaponize tech. But in the end, it wasn't us who got exposed. It was her. All by herself.